colouring. So I'm just going to pop some white on there, and I'm just going to keep on working that in. So if I didn't use the white, I would have just let it cool down a little bit more, and I would have started stretching it. So if anyone's seen toffee making before, you'll see that they've got these big metal hooks, and they get there and stretch the toffee on these hooks and incorporate the air into it. So because we don't have these amazing contraptions that they have in toffee making shops, we have to use our hands, and it can get really, really hot. So it's just cooling down now. It's becoming more workable. So as it cools down, it's easier to work. So I do actually have 2 pairs of gloves on at the moment, just to try and reduce that heat coming through. So if I didn't have these gloves on, I wouldn't be able to touch it at the moment. So this is the process of making it white if you didn't use the white food colouring. So you stretch and then put it back together. I'm sorry, guys, I've just lost one of my earbuds. Can you just let me know if you can still hear fine with one of my AirPods on the ground?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So sorry if I'm a little bit frantic at the moment. The thing with doing candy is you've got to work super duper quick. So it's nearly there. I probably could have used a little bit more white colouring. So as you can see, my hands are getting a little bit hot now, but I do just want to stretch it that bit more and just get that whiter colour into it. I'm also going to pop on my peppermint essence. So I didn't add my peppermint earlier because when you get the temperatures up to 160 degrees, it actually cooks out a bit. So I added quite a bit when I did my trial a lot, and I got to the end and it actually didn't smell like or taste like peppermint at all. So we add that now. Okay. I'm just going to roll it out, cut it into 2 sections. I find with this particular recipe, it is easier if we have 2 different sections to work with later on. So I'm just going to, got them there. I'm going to pop them into my oven and start working on my next lot. So I've got another tray in the oven. I'm just going to pop them in there, 100 degrees. So that is just going to keep them nice and soft and workable. I'm now going to bring over my oven mat. And I'm going to work this one and put my red food colouring in. So I do my white one first and my red one second, just because food dye can end up all over you. And it's nice to be able to have those really clear colours when you get to the end. If you do the red first, as you can see, I've got a bit of food colouring on my fingers, hands. So just makes it nice and clear at the end. You get some really beautiful colours. So I'm just going to pop that mat out of the way. So this one took much less time to work because it had been sitting there for a bit, and also because we just wanted the red colour. So the white does take quite a bit of time. So I'm just going to work this a little bit into another 2 rolls or logs, I guess you would call them. Logs, that's actually a terrible word. Rolls, much better. Okay, going to pop one of these back in the oven and get one of my white ones out. So the oven's sitting at 100 degrees, so not too hot, but definitely warm enough to stop the toffee from setting. So now I'm just twisting twisting to make that really, really nice pattern through it. So twist, twist, twist. So I found when it comes to candy canes, the thicker, the better. You don't want to make them too thin. I'm just going to take one set of gloves off because they're just getting a little bit slimy there. Okay, so I've got some nice twists happening here. I've got my scissors. I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to make one candy cane. Turn and make another hook and cut. And then just keep working along. So a bit more of a twist. Twisting and pulling is the key to stretching the mixture. So you don't really need to roll. It's more a stretching and pulling. And then you just need to shape at the end, just shape into nice little hooks. So this would be something really good to do with a friend or something. If you both got kids at school and you want to have a day cooking together, the extra hands make things so much easier. But as I said, really not something that you'd want to do with the kids, just far too dangerous, too hot, and it can get just a little bit hectic. So I'm just going to get one more out of this last bit. And you will have some that don't look perfect, and I think that's what makes them so great, because you can see how so much love's gone into making them. Let's see this. So I've got 5 made there. Are you happy for me to keep going, Nat, or do you want to switch back?
Yeah, we can switch back quickly and then come back to you, but they look absolutely incredible. Who has been impressed by these candy canes? I know that I definitely have. That is amazing. Absolutely outstanding, Sarah. Alrighty, I'm just going to switch back and finish the meatloaf. Okay, can everybody hear me and see me okay? If Laura or Sarah, if you could, or Laura, if you could let me know in the chat. Alrighty, so I have,
yeah.
Beautiful, thanks, Fran. Alrighty, so I have just did the knead, was conscious of time, so just stirred that around and did the knead for 1 minute. And it says to use a loaf tin. Now, I like to just use, and I think it's just because this is the way that my mum has always done it, so I feel like I'm just going back to what I know. But I just like to use a normal tray.
Excuse me,
And I've
Natalie.
just like that about 1/3 of
We're still on Sarah.
Oh, it's still on Sarah, is it? Oh, thanks. Oh, gee. Hang on.
Just done it for you. There you go.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Is that better? I've just made you host.
Thank you. So I
Thank you.
can cover it.
All righty. So it's saying place the 4 reserved boiled eggs just in the center like so. I just put them nice and close together. And now we just need to cover the rest of the meatloaf with the rest of the meat. So Now, this also can be made in advance and frozen as well. So it's that makes it, you know, life on Christmas Day when it can be a little bit hectic. It just makes it all that little bit more simple. Just popping that on. Makes a huge amount as well. So you can always, if you have a really like large Christmas table, you can always do this in 2 lots, and then that way there you can sit one at one end and one at the other. So I'm just going to pop that together like so. And just make sure it's all covered really nicely and in nice and tight. And now we're just going to cook that in the oven for about 50 minutes. Now my oven cooks really, really fast, so I'll probably just foil it to begin with and then take the foil off halfway through. All right, so that is all done. Now I'm just going to wash my hands and I'll be back, and I'm going to do a brandy custard. Laura, how long have your biscuits got left in the oven?
I was going to say mine are about to come out of the oven, but I can just do my chocolate stage if that works for you.
What was that? Sorry.
I can do the chocolate melting stage.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
All right.
I'll just get this into the oven.
Yeah, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'll just pop that there. Okay, we're back. So as an extra nice little effect, you can, if you like, you can skip this step if you know, you're trying to watch the sugar content or anything like that, but you can actually follow the rest of the recipe and melt your white chocolate and dip them into dip your shortbreads into them. So what I'm going to do, in case you didn't know this, you can hit your 3 dots. So because I've already done several stages of this recipe, I'm going to just hit the 3 little dots next to my next button. So just if you're not aware, so those 3 little dots give you a couple of options. You can bring up your scales from there. You can cancel the recipe, but you can go to your recipe detail and you can scroll down to the specific step that you want to go to. So really handy if you are making things, you know, half making something and coming back and finishing the cook off, maybe when you finish work or whatnot. So I'm just going to scroll down to, there we go, the shortbread. Okay, so it does call for 300 grams. I've only cooked a couple of the cookies, so I'm just going to do a small amount of the white chocolate today. And then I'll melt the rest of it, and just making sure that you do break that into pieces so that it melts quite evenly as well. I mean, the blades do a pretty good job, but I'll just show you how this stage obviously works. Has anyone melted chocolate in their Thermomix before? I'm hoping there's a resounding yes there. It is one of the best things that you can do, because once you have finished melting your chocolate and you've used it, you can actually make a hot chocolate, or, you know, utilize it for something else. But using it leftover chocolate in the bowl, you can pop in some milk and you've got yourself a really easy hot chocolate there. So I'm just going to grate the chocolate. A nice little thing I like to remember is grate on speed 8. So if you do need to do any kind of grating, cheeses, things, speed 8 is pretty much your go-to. All right. Get them out there. All right. So scraping down the bowl. You've got, I don't really need to scrape it down, but look at that beautiful, hopefully you could see that there. Nice crumb of chocolate, which will make it melt so much quicker. I will just do a quick scrape it down though. The lid's going back on. And then, yeah, so the beauty of a Thermomix, if you are into your baking and getting really creative with desserts and things, you can control that temperature, which for anyone who has tempered chocolate, that's a really important thing, to be able to have it at that right temperature. I believe it's about 50 degrees, 55 degrees. This one, we're just going to melt it at that 37 degrees. But if you found you wanted to do things that little bit quicker, and we know that roughly the burning point of chocolate is probably about that 55, 60 degrees, you can come back and adjust this, right? So I can click on that middle circle, and I can adjust it to my liking and just speed things up a little bit by getting to a bit of a higher temperature too. So yeah, you've always got control in your hands with your Thermomix. These guided recipes are just a guide, and they're there for those people that maybe don't have a bit of experience in the kitchen as well. Maybe it's the first time you're trying a recipe. So definitely make something once, follow the recipe, and then put your own flair on it. Once you've made it the once. And if you make something and you don't enjoy it, don't necessarily write that recipe off. There's lots you can do to tweak things to make it more enjoyable for you and your family. So I've got about 2 minutes. Sarah, while that's melting, Nat, while that's melting, would you like to make your brandy custard?
Yes, I'll pop that on now. So for those of you who are in a TM6, we are going to use a thicken mode. So the thicken mode is absolutely amazing and makes the most delicious custard. So we're making a brandy custard tonight. I thought that was fitting for Christmas. So I'm going to start a new recipe. Now it's asking me for 70 grams of raw sugar. And again, like Laura mentioned earlier, it's really important that that bowl is completely dry. And that's why having that second bowl is just so handy. So we're just going to pop the lid on. 15 seconds on speed 9. All righty. Now it says to scrape down the sides of the bowl. I usually just give it a bit of a smack on the side. It does the job. Gets it all down. Press next. Now 200 grams of pouring cream. That in. Just going to go around the blades. I'm going a little bit over, but I'm just going to use the rest of that cream up. And 200 grams of milk. I've just used full cream milk. I find full cream milk works best for custards, but you could definitely alter that if you wanted to or needed to, if you had any intolerances. So 3 eggs, just going to pop that straight in. And 40 grams of brandy. My next recipe to try is going to be eggnog. I have not tried that, but I'm definitely keen to try that this year for Christmas. So we'll use the rest of this brandy in that. All righty, pop the lid on. Next, and now that's just going to use a thicker mode on 80 degrees, and that's going to be ready in 10 minutes. So that is a super simple, quick and easy custard that you could serve up on the day of Christmas. All righty, back over to you, Laura.
All right, remove that. There we go. Okay, so it did actually call this recipe to do the melting in 2 stages, but oh, there we go. Sorry, something popped up. But I'm quite happy with that there. I know it's really hard for you to see. I did about 100 grams, so I'm only going to do probably 1 or 2 biscuits here, but these are my finished product. Make some space. Oh, they're not quite cool enough, and I just broke one. Let me be more gentle. Hang on, where's my little beauty of shortbreads? They're quite delicate, buttery things, and I'm not a delicate person. But anyway, they probably should be cooled a tiny bit more, but I will just show you for, aesthetic sake what it will look like. I'm going to probably use my little spatula from the mix shop. You can get a bunch of different flat like spatulas for cakes, like cake icing and decorating and stuff like that from the mix shop, and they are the best thing I think I was ever introduced to, because I always just used to try and use a knife, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't make them look as good as everybody else. So like I said, it is much better if you can let these cool and dip them in properly, but I'm going to make that look as nice and neat as I can so you get the idea. But yeah, the chocolate is melted perfectly. Again, don't be afraid to kind of play with things, especially if you're short on time, and make it work for you. And the other thing I just should mention too, so I baked these on some rose gold bakeware from the mix shop as well. But I just love, if you're not aware that they have these, they come with the mix shop has a set of silicone mats that fit specifically on the rose gold trays as well. Mine are obviously still a little bit warm from the cooking, but I'll kind of show you as well. So if you're curious, they're so handy. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but I just love it because they just live in them, and I don't ever have to worry about tearing off sheets of baking paper. So for me, it's really saving on the waste, and again, cost effective because I've got something that I'm reusing. I broke that one, which was my best one. I was going to take a photo of that one. But anyway, we'll see how this one goes if I pick it up. Actually, this one, it's got a bit of the cranberries in it. So I've painted it on there. I know it's probably hard with the lighting to see. It is good if you can dip it in a little bit more, but I'm just worried about them all crumbling now. But yeah, that is it. So they are perfect just to go to the reject shop, get a glass jar or something, or even just some cellophane and tie them up into a nice little, with a bit of ribbon, tie them up into a nice little gift bag. And they're such a good little gift at this time of year as well. So give them a try if you haven't tried making your own shortbread. Okay, all right, Nat, I think, are we over? Oh, do you want me to go back to you?
Yeah, Sarah, how are you going? Are you all done? Yours are all rolled out, ready?
Yeah, I'm good. I've got both batches done now.
All right, there she is.
Fabulous. How many did it make, Sarah?
What have we got? So it made 1, 2, 3, 4, about 10. I would say they're quite large. I just think it's probably better to do them on that bit bigger side. So you do have, I'll just pick up one of them. So you've got that little bit of thickness there. If you make them too thin, they can be a little bit breakable. But yeah, you could do them bigger or smaller again than that. But I just think these would go great with Laura's shortbread. Like, how great would that be as a gift? Some homemade treats.
Amazing. And what do you find the taste is like in comparison to store-bought candy canes?
Well, I wouldn't actually know because I don't really have much of a sweet tooth when it comes to candy canes and things like that. But yeah, they do have just like a really nice peppermint taste, and you can put other flavors in there too if you wanted to go something a little bit different as well. I just went for your traditional peppermint. That'd look nice with some if I had someone to help me, I think it'd be nice to have like 3 colors, throw green in there as well. How great would that look?
Yeah, that would look amazing. Perfect. Yeah. Well, my custard, I'm just checking the time. It's got 5 minutes left. So what is I'm just going to show you guys, for those of you who are TM6 owners, or just those of you who have a Cookie Do subscription, you don't have to be a TM6 owner to have a Cookie Do subscription. It is $69 a year and is worth its weight in gold. So I just wanted to share my screen. Laura, could you it's disabled my screen for sharing. No, it's still not letting me reclaim host. Alrighty, hopefully that's worked. Beautiful. So I've just got Cookie Do up on my computer, and I wanted to show you, if you go to recipes, you can do this on your phone as well. So if it's on your phone, you just click the little chef's hat in your top right hand corner. You go to your recipes, and then you go to collections. So you'll be able to see here that we've got 2 new collections that have just dropped in today, which is super exciting. So you've got a sweet Christmas collection, and if we click on that, you'll be able to see all these different delicious Christmas Day, Christmas party options here. So start adding away to your Christmas collection. I reckon the white chocolate and strawberry trifle looks delicious. And if we go back, we've got the savory Christmas. So for those of you who aren't as much of a sweet tooth as me, you do have your savory collection as well that has just landed. So definitely have a little explore on Cookie Do. There is so much to offer in terms of recipes. There is over 80,000 recipes worldwide on Cookie Do. it never is boring. So you'll see from time to time, if you go into your collections, that they do add different collections quite regularly. I would probably say even every 4 to 6 weeks on average that a new collection has been landing at the moment. The collection doesn't have all of the recipes, but it has some really great recipes in there to try and get a real feel for different types of nationalities. So you've got Filipino, casual, all those different things here. So make sure you make a really good use out of that. I'm just going to check my cook time quickly so I can finish up and show you the amazing custard, and then we